right, just getting started here. Basically have the chassis together, this step here. And so the flesh tones have arrived. You can see their skin tone. I believe this is normal skin tone, sunny skin tone, flesh tone, dark flesh, light flesh, flat flesh, brown rose, and salmon. So I've got everything cut out and cleaned up and trimmed up and kind of ready to paint. First, everything's going to get the black Mr. Surfacer. And I'm going to use the same technique to cut the masks for those, similar to what I did on the tank wheels. So got all that done while I was waiting for the different stuff to arrive. So I think I already talked about the flesh tones for the figures, and I've got those ready to go as well. And I'm leaving his arm off because his arm goes on the steering wheel. And so that's going to be like, you know, one of those last things I pull together. What do we have here? Khaki wood to do the axe and shovel. And then I've got these washes, Vallejo for dark vehicles, and it's a black wash, I believe, and olive green. And then I pulled out of that, you know, camo set back there, I pulled out the black and the white. I still have that dark wash, and I have. So this is kind of a milestone, got everything ready to go. I saw a few different people do a pretty cool technique on the figures, basically. So I have to get the black down on, you know, everything. And then they like shoot it from above with white. And then use a glaze, you know, mixing this very super thin. And they also use a wet palette, which I just ordered. I think it'll be here tomorrow. And then also for that technique, I saw that you have to do, you know, a lot of mixing and thinning of those paints. So, and everybody out there seemed to be using these, so I went and got those. It was only $6 for like 30 of them on Amazon, so I got those as well. Hey, before I go too much further, I want to do a mail call. Christmas cards from this gentleman here and this gentleman here. And lo and behold, not only are they next to each other on the board, but their cards are very similar. So our first card is from the man, the myth, the legend, Old Tom Rambler 69. And what an awesome card. It's got the old hot rod being pulled by the reindeer. Thanks so much, Tom. And then our second card is from Skip-O-Matic, and similarly, his card's got a hot rod on there, and a crazier Santa's enjoying that one. So thanks so much, guys. This one we'll be using the Mr. Finishing Surfacer with the leveling thinner, and I've got everything ready to go. All right, there's everything primed in the black. Gosh, I really like that Mr. Surfacing Finisher, or Mr. Finishing Surfacer, whatever it's called, with the leveling thinner. It just, you can't overshoot it. It just levels right out and thins right out. So on this technique I'm going to use for the figures, basically what they have you do is start with this black base coat, and then with a white, shoot only from directly above, as if that's where the light was coming from. And then that will leave shadows everywhere. What you do is then come back and then just very lightly thinned 90%. Not even wash it, literally paint it. You don't even want to wash. They said you don't want it to build up in the nooks and crannies. It's strictly a coat, a light coat, so that the white and the black shading show through, and it gave a pretty cool effect. So I just hit these figures with the insignia white and the mix of the airbrush thinner and the airflow improver, and this is what I came up with. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that looks kind of realistic, and again, basically all you're doing is shooting from directly above. I did angle a little bit, you know, each way, you know, all four directions, just to, you know, because it's supposed to simulate sunlight, and, you know, but it left really nice shadows. So now the idea is to overlay that with you know, super, you know, 3 to 5 coats of super thinned color so that those shadows show through. And you know, you get that effect. All right, I better take an update video before I go too much further. So let's see, I have painted the khaki on the seats and then the olive drab on like everything else. Again, I used that tool similar to what I did on the tank for these wheels, and again, it worked great. And then I put together the seats and supports or pipes or what have you. I had to paint up in the corner there, and then I actually just hand painted them all the way down and around. I shot this pack in the khaki, and I shot it really light because I wanted to leave those shadows in there and stuff. They have this tucked under the seat. I'm like, that seems like a waste to me. I'm gonna have it sitting out on top of the seat. Here I did these in that red, the red brown is what it said, and then shot the center with the olive drab. Here's the chassis in the olive drab, and here's the hood, windshield, both sides of that. I masked the gun in there. I guess that's like a holster for a rifle, and then I masked the butt of the rifle, and I did that in the same red-brown as the exhaust. So yeah, so 3 colors down and proceeding forward. I painted and then dry brushed this engine part. Also did that machine gun, put that on, put the ammo box on. Did the silver inside of there and the black around that radiator. I went ahead and used the black wash and did the chassis. I think that's what this is called, the frame with all these pieces. And yeah, I really like how that came out. So I'll do the black wash underneath, and then I'll do this olive green wash on the top. So you can see, so here it is with a wash, and there it is just plain. So I'll do that olive green wash up there. That wash that I used before for the tank, I'll use this wash on the wheels, obviously, except for the spare that goes in the back. And then up inside the wheel wells with the pigments to simulate the dirt. Before I go any further now, I think now is the time to do the decals. All right, another haul of sorts. This is that wet palette. Stay Wet, if you can see that, Stay Wet Handy Palette, Masterson's. So using that will be upcoming. And then this was supposed to be retarder, but it says thinner. I don't know, we'll see. I would have thought it would have said retarder, but oh well. And before I went up last night, I did the future floor wax on the hood, the chassis, and the body. Nice. Okay, so now I can put those decals on. Okay, I've got the decals down now, front and back. There's some on the back of there. This, and similar to PE on previous builds, doggone it, I knew I should have left that rear view mirror off until the end, and of course I knocked it off. So I'll have to glue that back on. All right, just put the headlight lenses in there. Just took the micro crystal clear and just put a little bit around the edge and pop that in there and boom. Working on these details now and using this wood, and I diluted that down with water. Kind of had a watery side and a paint side, so to speak, and then just worked on these and kind of let that undercoat of primer show through here and there, but you know, just working the the gun, and that's on both sides. But I believe it goes down like that, and then same thing here on both sides. And I think this is a Thompson submachine gun, and I think that's a handle sticking out there. I hope it is. So yeah, this is fun doing this hand painting. Okay, I just did some dry brushing on the guns. So the barrel, and then the trigger area, and where you put the magazine in, and then up in there. And then it's just dry fit on there, but that is going to look really cool. And then same thing, you know, just up on the top of this one, just dry brushed it. Following up with the shovel and the axe. So first I laid down a coat of this titanium buffing metallizer on there, and then you know, coated the entire thing on both, and then came back with this stainless steel buffing metallizer. And I like it because you can brush it pretty well. So then what I did is I kind of just held it up and I looked, so you can see on top here, let me see if I could prop it up like this. Yeah, so you can see on top there how that's light. So then I came with the silver and just did right there, and then did right there on the top, and then touched this, and then the same thing here, just did on the top, and then just did those edges along the handle, and then on the very tip, just the top, so that you're mimicking the shadow, you know, even if the light wasn't there, maybe, yeah, you can kind of get that effect and see how it is actually two different colors. So what you're doing is highlighting the highest surface. Maybe that's where the term highlight came from. You're lightening the highest points. So anyway, that's my first attempt at that kind of technique, and you know, it's kind of cool. And then on the axe, I just streaked it. I don't know that there's all that much shadowing on it. Well, it's Sunday night, and got a lot of modeling done on this week, so I think I'll get this video out. So as always, thanks for watching, and happy modeling.